Hello guys and welcome to World of Tanks Tactics number 6, I think, yeah. Somebody asked me to do a Type T-34 replay to show how it's played, and I happen to have one of those replays saved up. And here it is. This is actually the last game I ever played on the Type T-34, because well, it wasn't really the best tank. You could have some fun with it when you're playing in a platoon especially, because the way you play this tank is you need not to get shot at. You need somebody else to take the enemy's attention and then just use the high rate of fire and the good TPM to kill the enemy while they're not looking at you. We're playing on White Park, and this railway in the middle of the map is where most of the action is happening, and it's actually a good cover against all of the enemies. And artillery also, you just have to always look at this spot, and a D1 spot, because enemy can peek over the railway and shoot down from D1 to this spot, and from here this way. So you will need usually the team that has most tanks on the railway wins. But since, as I said, this is a tank that you need not to get shot at, I stay a little bit back, see if our team actually goes to the railway, and as you can see, it's a tier 5 game, so low tier games you can't really rely on your team that much. And my team is not going to the railway that much, so it was a good idea to stay back a little bit, because if I would have been up on the railway right over there, Crusader would be shooting me, these tanks would be shooting me, and these TDs would be shooting me, and I could be dead already actually. In higher tier games you usually can count on your team going a little bit closer to the railway station, railway, not the station. Not always, but usually you can count on them, and you can be a little bit more aggressive. The rate of fire on this gun is good, but the damage is only 85 and penetration 112. But taking low tiers like T82 is quite easy, because it does shoot every 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds or something like that. As you can see, really fast fire. It's just turned his back to me. Bad mistake from him, because he will be dead now. This is where the Type T-34 is really good at. When the enemies are not looking, you can really do a lot of damage to them in a short time. Now I was thinking of going that way, to the middle, but then I take a look at the map. We have a lot of tanks camping behind, not doing really anything. A couple of tanks on this flank, and they should be able to hold that flank really easily. There's no enemies in the middle anymore, but as you can see, we have a T1 heavy, Lux and the Hetzer on this flank against the Stug, Panzer 4 and Lee. So I decide, okay, let's help this flank push through, because now the Stug is dead. There's only 2 tanks left. Okay, now there's 3 tanks left, but still we should be able to push through this flank quite easily. And the Lux and the T1 are playing quite aggressive, so which I do like in low tier games, playing a little bit aggressive. So whenever I see another teammate playing aggressive, I will go help him. Chinese tank, no kind of person at all, so you can't shoot anything from up the railway. Now I need to decide which tank to shoot when I go down. Covenanter, low health, not looking at me. Let's kill him first, and then concentrate on the Lee. Once he's alone, he can only concentrate on either the T1 or me, and because he doesn't have a turret, one of us will be able to kill him quite easily. So they got the Covenanter, turn towards Lee. He panics, doesn't know which way to go, turns towards me. I get lucky and he bounces me. I shoot him once. I go back to bait him coming down the hill, and then once he does come, I move forward again, and well, he's dead. And the Panzer 3, 4 is dead now. I spot the artillery there, and always you can take artillery out. Always good idea to do so. This M5 is AFK, but the thing is that he is putting me and the T1, well not T1 anymore, but will spot anybody coming through the open field, so I need to kill him first before moving, otherwise I would get shot by the enemies all the time. The M8 A1 takes a blind shot at me and unfortunately hits me. As you can see, the next shot misses. So now there's only M8 A1 on the A9 position or something like that. 2 light tanks and the KV1 on the flank against the Panzer 3-4. So I need to go help him now. KV1 is the biggest threat, he's low health. And the other ones shouldn't be a problem because even though the Type T-34 doesn't have that much armor, it has enough armor to bounce the A20 and Leopard. Leopard comes forward first, so he can't even penetrate me, so I just keep shooting him with a good rate of fire. I would be able to kill him quite easily. I see the KV1, and KV1 has a lot of armor and I don't have that much penetration, so I load a couple of rounds color ammunition so I can get rid of him, because he still might be able to kill me, because he did have the derp gun. He could easily one-shot me with that. And now it's just 2 tanks left. A20 is next, and he's a light tank that doesn't have that much damage or penetration, so I just rush ahead and kill him with my better DPM. And that's the game. Yeah, recap time now. Type T-34 is basically a medium tank with a light tank gun. It has the same gun as T-52 has, so it has a really good rate of fire, 2.5 seconds with tank gun armor, I think, and 85 damage per shot. So when you can get in a position where you can just keep shooting the enemies without them shooting you back, you can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and that's why it's usually better to move with another big group, especially with heavies that take all the attention. And when the heavies have gotten the enemies to low HP and they are distracted, low HP and reloading, you can go in and finish them off quickly, preferably flanking them coming from the back, never getting the enemy's attention to yourself and finishing them off quickly. Or you can go against lower enemies. You will match their height speed of fire, but you will have more damage and more penetration than they will do. They will bounce a couple of shots on you, and you have more HP than they do, so you will always win those fights, unless they get lucky or you play really badly. But the bottom line is that you will have the advantage against them. So don't get the enemies don't get the enemy big tanks attention, and be sneaky. Go shoot them when they're reloading, get off a couple of shots because you have a high rate of fire, and keep doing damage all the time. That's really important because you have to do the damage over time. Heavies can do that in a couple of shots, but you need to keep doing the damage all the time. That's really important. Use the mobility that you have as a medium tank and the high rate of fire that you have from the light tank's gun. And now let's take a look at the battle results. As you can see, that was a victory, 47k credits, 3704 experience with a double. Without a double it would be 1850. Red Ilvotos medal, Top Gun and Sniper. And as you can see, we did damage to a lot of tanks. Not much to any single tank, but yeah, TPM is very important this tank. Team score, you can see that it was mostly 2 tanks doing most of the damage and the kills, and the rest of the team keeping it busy until me with the T1 came to do the damage. Detailed report, you will see that it's important to penetrate with this gun a lot, because you need to keep doing that damage all the time, or you will die, because then the enemy will notice you and kill you. And well, 2k damage in that battle, which is quite good in a tier 5 battle. And yeah, this tank also makes quite good money if you don't use gold ammunition, because the normal ammunition is really cheap. And well, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and comment and like the video, and I hope to see you guys next time again.